Michigan Sunset is the second single from my new record, Rust Belt. And I named the record Rust Belt because whenever people ask me where I'm from, it's a little bit complicated. I was born in Michigan and my family is from Michigan, but I was raised in Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and even a little while in Minnesota. The record is really a series of different stories that have to do with sort of my origin story and also about my transition from being a guy from the Midwest to living in New York City and all the things I've discovered since I've been here for about 24 years.
The music worked its way into their souls. But when it's not
the song Michigan Sunset in particular, I think it's probably the most personal song I've ever written. It was a story that I heard a lot growing up from my family because I'm named after the subject of the song, a guy named Scott Smith, who was the singer in my dad's high school rock and roll band, and they actually had a couple different bands together in Michigan in the 60s. Scott Smith was a conscientious objector in the Vietnam War, and he was tragically killed in the line of duty at the age of 19.
But the cold's in my blood, and the lake in mud, and I know.
I heard about him a lot growing up because Scott, he really died in that war because of his principles. And his principles as a conscientious objector was that the Vietnam War was unjust. He really did not want to serve in that war and have to take the life of anyone who was being determined to be an enemy.
He faced the front line down with the medics pack in hand.
Scott's stance was to not carry a weapon because the draft board was going to make him go serve and make him serve on the front lines. So they trained him up as quickly as they could to be a medic, and unfortunately he was put right on the front lines and was killed in his first day of combat service as a combat medic. So I used to hear this story a lot growing up, as I said, not just because I'm named after Scott and not just because he was a close friend of my parents, but really because he was such a principled and soulful man who was taken from us at such a young age. Obviously, the time of the Vietnam War in the 60s and the turmoil and struggle that our country went through then is somewhat reflected in what we're going through now as well. Scott Smith was on my mind over the last couple years, and Michigan Sunset, the story of Scott Smith, was a song I sort of, as a songwriter, I always promised myself I sort of would never write this song. I always felt it was like it was too personal, and I wasn't sure I could do justice to how much the story of Scott Smith's sacrifice tied in with my own origin story. But one day, as songs do sometimes, I sat down and it just poured out of me. And I looked down and I said, oh man, I've written the song, I can't believe it. It was one of those moments. I'm extremely proud of the recording of this song that we have on Rust Belt. It features some great friends of mine who I've been playing with for many years here in New York. Tony Mason on drums, Brett Bass on the bass, and Amy Helm also contributed her incredible vocal. Also some newer friends of mine, the great Dan Whittleton on guitar and vocals, and his wife Elizabeth Mitchell as well. Between Dan and Elizabeth and Amy, they created this amazing sort of angelic kind of gospel choir effect.
While back home a baby cried with tear-filled blue eyes to carry on towards a brand new day.
The final piece that was missing from the track that we have was the question of having piano. this came up with Charlie Martinez, my producer, engineer, and of many years. Charlie and I are really close, and Charlie suggested, maybe we could ask Bill Payne if he wants to be part of it. And Bill had a great recording studio at home that he could use, so we got Bill Payne on piano was sort of the last final texture that really, I think, really helps to sonically animate the story. On this Rust Belt album, and particularly with this song Michigan Sunset, I'm really trying to share a deep personal story, and I hope that it resonates with everyone in a way that is relevant now and relevant to the climate in society that we find ourselves in, grappling with the political and social and spiritual tumult of that time. I think it is still relevant to us now, and there's something that we can learn from it.